Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking to Dr. Raja Gangopadhyay, consultant obstetrician, about the myths around maternal mental health.
Absolutely.
What are the myths around?
I think the most important thing is there is a myth that it is a sign of weakness or a lack of confidence among the mothers, and it can only happen to a certain group of mothers in the society.
Right.
This is certainly not true. It is definitely not a sign of weakness. It is definitely not a sign. It is a health condition. It is an illness, like any other health condition.
Nothing to do with physical health.
Nothing to, yes, sometimes all physical ailment, they have mental health component to it. We should not forget that. If someone is having, for example, diabetes in pregnancy or very high blood pressure in pregnancy, obviously she is going to
have a knock-on effect.
Absolutely, there is no doubt about that. So it is a health condition. It needs care, treatment, and support like any other health condition.
True.
So this is how it should be looked at. So if you are a mother, if you are suffering from anxiety, depression, nothing to be ashamed of. This is a health condition which just needs treatment like any other health condition, and we as a society should create an atmosphere so that we can talk about it. And perhaps another very important myth is that there is a fear that if they talk about this during pregnancy or after childbirth, the baby is going to be removed by the social services. Again, this is certainly not true. Mental health condition on its own is definitely not a
But
factor.
this problem is only specific to countries where they have these systems, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Not back home.
Not back home. I don't know exactly how the social services. It has a different aspects in every culture, every society, and this is again a complete myth. In fact, nowadays it is advisable that even if the mother is unwell, the baby stays with the mother, because that helps in early recovery and also helps in the bonding and attachment with the baby.
Right.
And that is the whole idea of having mother and baby units. And it is as a healthcare professionals working in the UK, I'm extremely proud to have such a excellent mother and baby units in the country. We need even more.
Right. What is the role of the family in all this, including the father and the parents?
It is very important. And also we have to remember the father can also can have, now there is a lot of research evidence to show that the partner can have mental health problem like depression or post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of the pregnancy or the childbirth experience. And it's not only the male partner, it can happen to the same-sex partner or for the single mothers who someone in the supportive role. For example, I have seen mothers who have been birth partner before to their friend. They have come with severe anxiety during their pregnancy because they have seen how traumatic sometimes the childbirth can be or how she has perceived it. And that is why, as a healthcare professional, it is our role to support and reassure everyone that whatever the condition, because pregnancy and childbirth is a very dynamic process. Most of the time it is smooth and absolutely uneventful, but it can come up with complication. But our role as a healthcare professional to support each and every stage, communicate with them. So that
how can you raise the awareness? How can you? I mean, is it like through seminars, announcements, booklets, programs on television and meeting the community?
There are different ways of raising awareness in the community. One of the important factor is there are many mothers who have gone through the experience. They shared their experience in the social media, writing books or writing blogs. And I am extremely proud to know many of the mothers in the country and also outside the country as in abroad as well. So this is one of the medium. You mentioned about the community events. I personally feel this is a very strong way of sending message to the community, engaging the whole society.
You have been holding community events, but we'll come to that later.
Okay. Yeah. And also through different other modalities. For example, I've seen there are a lot of videos, films are being made on that now. People are, who are involved in the arts or photography, they have done exhibitions. So that is the different ways to raise awareness. I think the most important factor is how we support each other and work as a team in a more comprehensive way.
Right. And this most important thing, do not had asked, how can we reduce the stigma? I mean, this is a mental health problem. I have another question. After the birth of the baby, the routine changes for the mother and the father. See, I remember I was making milk for my daughter. See, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. I was going like that. See, and it was like a clockwork. See, I would get up, make the milk. And just
That's true.
So I'm sure that this does have a knock-on effect on the body.
You are absolutely right. Not only it is a completely life-changing event, the pregnancy and after the childbirth, and that is why parenthood can be very, very challenging at times. And yes, it can have.
It's also rewarding.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. It is a fulfilling experience. As a dad, I know how proud I was when my daughter was born. But at the same time, I met with a lot of challenges as well as a new dad, even as a healthcare professional as well. So yes, this can have. And another very important factor in mental health problem, especially after childbirth, is rest. Once you have gone through the pregnancy and childbirth process, your body and mind both needs rest and recovery. So you have to allow yourself some time. Usually what happens when the baby is born, family and friends are visiting, you don't have time for yourself. Sure. Or as a family member. Everyone is focusing on the baby and forgetting you and your partner and your family as well. So it is very important that you look after yourself. If you're unwell, please seek help.
You need a space, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's very important. And to some extent, I also feel that as a society, as a member of the family, friends, we should ensure that she's getting enough rest, because sleep deprivation is now thought to be one of the important contributory factors towards very poor mental health problems after the childbirth. So
you mentioned somewhere, I think, the role of maternity service in PMH, this is perinatal mental health, has remained poorly understood, and probably this is the center of obstetrics.
Absolutely. Very sadly, probably it is a sort of traditional concept about mental health that when we talk about mental health anyway, we just talk about only mental health professionals. But when someone is pregnant, and that is why we call it maternal mental health, we call it perinatal mental health, because there is a pregnancy element is there. And that is why people who are in contact with during pregnancy of the mother and the family, like for example obstetrician, midwife, health visitors, GPs, peer support worker, everyone has their role to play there. What surprises me sometimes that there is a lot of budget and funding is coming from the government to develop the specialist perinatal mental health services, but it is equally important. That is very welcome, and that is absolutely life-saving, absolutely no doubt about that. But at the same time, it is very important that we focus on other areas as well. We need to talk about having a specialist midwife in each and every maternity unit, right. Having a consultant obstetrician leading the whole service. And we need to identify the other aspects as well, so that after delivery, especially when it goes to the community care, GPs are able to support these mothers, and also the health visitors and early years practitioners as well. Because if someone is having difficulty in bonding and attachment, you have to work on the relationship. So it is not only treatment of the mental health condition. So providing the holistic approach is very important. So each and every aspect of care provision is important.
I have asked you about post-delivery problems, and you suggested that it just doesn't go away. It can be multiplied, see. But the role of the father, I'm more interested in that as a male. And,
absolutely.
And I'm sure that most of my viewers are. See. What can be and how can it be more effective?
The partner, the husband or the family members have a very important role to play. It's not only to provide support, but also education to them is very important. Awareness is important for them as well, because they might be the first person to identify that mother is not well. Because sometimes such, for example, postnatal depression, it happens very, very slowly over several over a long period of time. So mother may not identify, but that is why father is or any other family member is very important. And at the same time, it is very important that when mother is feeling low or feeling something unusual, she is probably the partner of the family members are the first one to talk to. So. And it is incredibly helpful for them if they can have someone to talk to. It is in a supportive manner, and taking them to seek help, encouraging them to seek help, because they do a lot of things. We may mention about stigma. Mothers are hesitant to talk about that. So, it is as a member of the family, it's so important. We encourage them to seek help early.
I asked you this question before, but can you go a bit into detail? What are the symptoms of PMH?
Yeah. Now, PMH is a mental health condition, can be of different varieties and different kinds of mental health problem, like anxiety, depression, especially after delivery, it can be postnatal depression, postpartum psychosis, or eating disorders, OCD. So it can be a variety of causes. But talking in simple terms, anxiety and depression some symptoms are similar to outside pregnancy. For example, persistently feeling low, difficulty with sleep, difficulty to concentrate, sometimes feeling very anxious about it. And some of the features are very very linked to the birth and delivery process. For example, having serious thought about welfare of the child, for example, having panic attacks.
Right.
And sometimes, very rarely, thoughts of harming themselves or harming the baby. And in this note, I would like to say that it is very important that you should not be ignoring these symptoms. If you should seek help as soon as possible.
Right. So what does it involve? We seek help. What do we get?
Yes. Seek help, first of all. If you are feeling low or feeling anxious about anything, you should speak to someone, your friends, family members.
Okay, doctor, time for a break again, and when we come back, we'll talk about the diagnosis and therapy and all that. Thank you, viewers, for being with us, and we'll come back after this very short break. See you soon.